The toxic air crisis. Oregon's DEQ says 2 Portland glass manufacturers can be regulated under federal air quality rules. So the agency is now working with Bullseye Glass and Uroboros to ensure that they're in compliance.
So why now? Why are they saying this now, and what will it mean to those companies? Amy Fraser met with DEQ today, and what did you discover here, Amy?
Jeff, according to the DEQ, the 2 glass companies must comply with more stringent regulation, something that legally requires them to install pollution control equipment.
The latest twist in the toxic air crisis has to do with furnaces used to produce glass. The Oregon DEQ asked the EPA to clarify what it means by a continuous furnace. That's because a continuous furnace is subject to federal emission standards for hazardous air pollutants.
EPA has told us that the way that they define continuous furnace would apply to the 2 glass companies in Portland, Uroboros and Bullseye Glass.
This means the companies are now legally required to install pollution control equipment and follow other requirements for testing, monitoring, and record keeping.
How come this wasn't looked at until now?
Based on the EPA regulation language and the preamble to the regulation and what was understood in industry, DEQ understood the meaning of continuous furnace to be different than what EPA has clarified.
According to the DEQ, the furnaces at the 2 companies were thought to be periodic because they're not continuously producing glass. However, I'm told the furnaces are on and hot all the time, and to the federal government, that means continuous. The federal rules apply to furnaces producing 50 tons a year or more of glass. I also wanted to know about other types of manufacturers.
Will some of these federal regulations possibly apply to them as well, or are you looking at that?
That's a great question, and many people have been interested in knowing, what about toxic emissions from other industries. This particular federal regulation only applies to glass manufacturers.
However, under the Cleaner Air Oregon program announced by the governor, Oregon will be developing statewide requirements to reduce hazardous emissions from industrial facilities to help protect public health. We will continue to follow up on this reform. Jeff?
Great.